Hello YouTube, welcome back to Case Technologies. In today's video we're going to talk about CentOS 8 and how to install, and then we're going to do a little review on the operating system itself, how to navigate, and what the great features are on the system. So let's go ahead and begin. The first thing you want to do is come over to CentOS.org, and right here on the main page it talks about the project itself. They have a nice little news and events section, their sponsorships, and various information about CentOS itself, the community, and all the things that support and power this operating system. But today we want to focus on just the image itself and how to install it. So let's go on over to we can either select the download tab or you can go to CentOS Linux right here. So let's go ahead and select CentOS Linux. And right here in the middle of the page, we can see under 8, which is the version we want to download, CentOS 8. You have the x86 64 architecture, ARM64, and IBM Power PC platform. And on the right side, under others, they have different variations of the CentOS image. You can either put it in a Docker container or you can use it as a Vagrant image. Today we're just going to select x86 64 because we want to go ahead and get the ISO package. Now I'm in the DC area, so I'm going to go ahead and select something or select a repo or mirror that's close to where I live. And it says right here, the following mirrors in your region should have the ISO images available. So I'm just going to go ahead and select VCU since they're physically the closest, but there's no guarantee with what their internet speed is or what I can do as far as that, or what your personal custom speed is in your home or place of internet. So you have 3 different types here. We have the boot ISO image, we have the DVD ISO image, and the minimal ISO image. And today we're just going to go ahead and focus on the DVD ISO. And if you're curious of what they are, the minimum is just the basic one. I do not recommend that someone who's new to Linux or new to CentOS does that. It's a minimum install where you have to install everything yourself. It's a little more advanced. You have to configure the network interfaces and other services on that instance, and also play with your repos. So there's 2 things you need to do. First thing, for security reasons, you want to select checksum and download this checksum or copy it to a clipboard or notebook. And you want to go back, and then you want to select download the CentOS DVD. Now once you have that done, we can go on and install it in whatever your virtualization item of choice is, be it Vagrant, be it VirtualBox or VMware, as what I have is VMware EXXi, not VMware Workstation. So let's hop over here. I'm going to go ahead and close that window. And let's hop over here. We're going to do a new install. So I'm going to go here. I want to create a new VM. And then I'm going to call it CentOS install service review. And we're going to say Linux, because it's from the Linux family. And next. And I'm going to put 4096 because I have enough RAM and resources to allow for 4 gigs of memory, but make sure you just have that on your instance. Then we're going to do data store ISO file because that's where we downloaded, and you're going to use the form of ISO location or installing from the ISO based upon whatever virtualization software you're using. So if that's VMware Workstation, if it's VirtualBox, if it's EXXi, make sure you keep up with that process and know it very well. All right. And now here in EXXi, I have to view here and make sure everything is right like I expect it to be. And it's fine. Hit finish. And then I'm going to go ahead and start that VM. Go ahead and power it on and make this full screen so you can see it. Now, right away, we have a decision to make. Do you want to test this media and play with it first before you install it? This is pretty much what you would do if you were going to actually install this on some physical media platform. And then you have the top option where you can either install, where you just go ahead and install it. And in today's video, we're going to go ahead and just hit install it. And wait for this to boot up. It takes a little bit. And right here, you have to go ahead. Let's first go ahead on the system and select our installation media. It's already checked, so it should be able to hit done. And you'll say okay. All right. Reclaim space, if you have that. All right. Now, you want to go to software selection. And on the software selection, it allows you to choose what you want your base environment to be. You could be a server with GUI, a basic server, minimal install, as I was referring to earlier, or a custom operating system, or even a workstation if you want to use it for daily use. And on the right side, you have Windows File Server, debugging tools, a file storage server, guest agents, mail server. So you have to select the type of server you actually want to use this for. And I'm just going to say Windows File Server and File and Storage Server. All right, just to select something. Then you want to select Done and then begin installation. So right now, it's just been pretty straightforward. You just have to go through the basic menus and follow the steps. And then right here, when you set the root password, you always want to have something that's memorable yet secure, because it is root. And just hit done. I'm going to click done twice because I just put in a basic password. Then you want to come over to the first user account. If you want to make this, if you want to be able to use sudo, you want to check this box, make this user administrator, and then you want to go through the rest of the password prompts. And select done, and done again. And you're just going to go ahead and wait for that install process to complete. Okay, after this installation is completed, just go ahead down to the lower right hand corner and hit reboot. And right here, when you come to the boot menu now, you have three options. You want to go ahead and go to the top option. The middle one is the rescue, if you have any issues in the future with the system, and then you have system setup. Just go ahead and select the top one. As you can see, it's starting to boot up. You should see the little spinner in the middle of the screen, the loading. Now I have the little mouse. Go ahead and accept the licensing information. And finish the configuration. right. Resize this to get it correct again. Here we go. And now just go ahead and log in. If I type in the box, it'll work. And here you go. Basically the same stuff. Go ahead and select the language that you would prefer. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and select English. It's on the right keyboard type for me. And privacy, I'm just going to turn this off. And I'm going to skip that. You can set that up though. And start using CentOS Linux today. And right here, as you can see, when you first come in, it says getting started and it has GNOME help. You have your video on common tasks, switch tasks, use windows and workspaces. It doesn't hurt to go through all of these if it's your first time using CentOS. I'm just going to go ahead and close out. And what you can see, if I move this, is the time and the date stamp in the middle of the screen. Then you have your settings over here. What type of connection you have, is wired or wireless. Your username shows up here. Then you have your settings menu, your lock screen, and your power button. And over here, if you've never used GNOME before, you have your activities. You just select that, and you have a Firefox browser already installed. You have your file explorer right here. There's Software Center, Help, Terminal, and then if you want to show the rest of the applications, they all come up in a beautiful display right in the middle of the screen here. You can also select your most frequented apps at the bottom, or you can just do all, display them all. You also can search if you want to do cheese for picture or camera. You can do that as well. And it's a pretty snappy interface, as you can tell. We just open up the browser. It's just like any other browser or any other system. If you're used to using a Mac or Windows, it's Firefox. Same old stuff. So nothing new there. Then you can, your file exploration, if you want to check your files, you would have home, desktop, documents, downloads. All these are already installed by default. And pictures is empty. So it's nothing like the Windows system that, if you're familiar with Windows, there's nothing already in there. Well, yeah, nothing like the Windows at all. A little different layout, nice layouts, very clean and simple. So let's X out of that. And then you have your traditional terminal. Just do IP adder. Let's see. And there you go. It shows all your basic file structure, coloring, simple stuff, very basic. And these are all the defaults. Of course, you can always improve these things at any time when you get ready. And it comes in a basic text editor too. If you want to do any text stuff. And you can see the syntax highlighting from this text editor, which is pretty neat. So it has a basic text editor already pre-installed. And that's pretty much it for CentOS, for the basics of installation and a review. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. Please share on your Instagram stories, on Facebook, or any of your other media outlets. Always here to help. Thank you.